What's up guys, it's Elliot here, and today I'm bringing you another guide. Now I am centering this guide around Soldier 76, and I am talking about him, but some of these things you can apply to all heroes, any shooter games you play, and in general, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end. But I'm basically going to be talking about the advanced ways to improve your Soldier 76 play in Overwatch, so let's dig into it. So, as you well know from my Soldier 76 guide, I spent a lot of time improving my gameplay with him to rank up, and I ranked up a lot. I got to mid-plat, I got better, and I'm consistently getting better, as you guys know from if you watch my channel. And just to anyone out there, I am consistently getting better, and that's why I make these videos, to share how I'm getting better and to share the success and tips with you guys, because I really enjoy doing that. So with Soldier, one of the things I really focused on was my aim. This applies to any hero you want to play in this game for the most part, but the biggest thing I did with my aim was I went from aiming with my wrist to aiming with my whole arm. Now, the best way to do this is just practice, but you really need to get the right setup, and that's you want to have your whole arm with your elbow on the table and your wrist inverted. If it's just your wrist on the table because you don't have a lot of table space, it's hard to aim with just your arm because you have no like focus point. It's really uncomfortable to move because you have to move from your shoulder instead of like just your forearm from your elbow. So you put your elbow on the table, it may requires you to sit up a little bit, and then you just want to lift your wrist and aim. If you've never done this before, it feels really weird at first. It took me a couple weeks. Most people take, a couple weeks to a month to get used to it, but it really helps because the same principle as like leverage and all this stuff where you go to the end of a lever to get smaller like movements to make a bigger impact. That's the point. You can lower your sensitivity, and you can swipe your whole hand across the mouse pad to make huge movements that you need to make, but it also means that the small movements you make with your arm will make tiny movements on screen, meaning you can be more accurate. And because you're not using like the really twitchy muscles in your fingers and wrist, you can use your forearm muscle to make a lot more controlled movements and get better muscle memory, because the bigger the muscle, the easier you can get the memory on it. So doing that has really helped me. It's made my aim better. And I just mentioned sensitivity, and that is the second point. So not only did I do that, but I had to change up my sensitivity from wrist to arm because I needed to lower it a lot more so I could aim better. And that's the thing. I mess with sensitivity to really improve my aim on Soldier, and I made it as low. You want to go as low as you can. You want to have kind of around under 1600-ish DPI is what I use, and I use 5 sensitivity in game. You want to use something like that. If you want what that would equal to for you is if you multiply the DPI by your in-game sense, that'll give you your like combined Overwatch sensitivity. So if you change the DPI, you want to change your sensitivity so it'll equal the same number. I just tried to get lower it, use quick play it to just work on it, so I could just make movements I felt comfortable with, so I could just keep tracking them really well, but also so I could feel like I could turn around. It's just finding a balance. It's all personal preference, but I use 1600 DPI by 5 in-game sensitivity. I've been using that for the past 2 months. I really like it. Sometimes if you want to mix it up, if you feel like your aim's a little off, lower it a little bit. Just keep working on it. It takes time. All these things, changing your sensitivity and changing the way you aim, it always takes time to practice. You need to do it. You need to do it in quick play. You need to work on it. It might be frustrating. Maybe work on it in other games. I worked on it in Battlefield 1 a lot. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. And the more comfortable you get, the better your play will get. And you'll be able to rank up. And that's what happened to me. So I strongly suggest this. So now, I did just talk about my aim there. But Soldier 76 is all about aim, because as I saw in the guide, he is hit scan, and you just point and click and do reliable damage. So you need to really hit where you're focusing, and he has spread, which is why he's a little bit easier to play than the other hit scan DPS. But the thing that's really good is, against bigger targets, you can just hold down fully auto, and you can just melt shields, melt tanks. But the other thing that's really difficult is if you're trying to hit someone smaller or someone who moves quickly, or from a distance, you can't really hold it down because your spread will go crazy and you might not hit as many bullets. What you need to do is you need to tap fire. I think the first 3 or 4 bullets that come out of his gun really have no spread. So if you can just tap fire really quickly, just tap, let a couple come out, and then tap, your spread will constantly be reset at like next to 0 or like next to none, which means you can really shoot effectively, like where you need to shoot and pinpoint accuracy. And if you see me doing that in gameplay, it's just basically just me tapping the aim button, and it might spread a little bit, but it's just honing back in and just keeps hitting them. And that's the really effective thing. So that's the advanced part, is you want to control your spread. When you can, when you're up close to people, when you're up close, or when you're shooting at tanks, always go full auto. But if you're from a distance and trying to like pick someone very carefully, you want to use just tap firing, very careful, very controlled. I even slowed my talking down just to talk about that. Very controlled bursts, and that's something that really helps. The other thing that helps is his aim is all about tracking, is you want to get used to that. You have to track movement with Soldier, and you got to get a lot practice, get used to that. But it all starts with your mindset. You need to have the mindset, be focused. You can play Soldier very relaxed, obviously, but you want to play him focused because you need to really pay attention to the way you're aiming, to your arm motions, where you are on the mouse pad, and to who you're shooting at, obviously. But you need to pay attention, and you need to focus on their movements, and you got to have quick enough reflexes to take what they're doing and move it really quickly around and track. It all comes from practice. If you don't want to do it quite as Soldier in game, Zarya also requires track aiming. I said this in guides, and if you can practice for Soldier's aim with her aim, that's something I did as well. That actually helped me climb, as I would be playing more Zarya. I could practice aim. I feel more comfortable on Soldier, and doing that is a great way to practice because I was a tank player. I don't really know who at healing. I guess if you were to play Ana, you'd get similar aim and you can do that, but as far as tanking goes, that's what I did. I practiced my track aiming constantly with Zarya. The last thing I'm going to talk about with Soldier and all the improvements I've made and stuff and all this practice is I'm going to talk about just the fundamentals, kind of the advanced stuff of what you want to do. Because obviously I talked about my Soldier guide, where to stand, what to do, just the generic way of playing it. But if you really want to get to the next level of Soldier, you need to really figure out where to be and when to commit and all that stuff at a really high level. You need to figure out when the fight's kind of a lost cause, when you need to back up, when you can run in, because you don't want to always be the first one in. You want to let someone get in front of you like a tank, and then you want to come in and clean up from behind. And you really want to leverage that. A lot of people who play Soldier run in and stuff, and it's really bad, because even if you get a kill, if you get picked, you're not really helping your team all the time. So you really want to leverage that, and you want to get comfortable from a distance, and you want to get comfortable picking at people from a distance and using your sprint to run away. And that's the thing, is you want to keep moving, you want to change angles, you want to change all this stuff, and it really helps, because if you're standing still or standing in the same place, they will figure out where you are and they will deal with you. But if you keep moving, they don't know where you're going to be, and you're going to be able to consistently have the upper hand on them. And sometimes that does require falling back and stuff, and that's always frustrating to do, but if you can do it effectively and really hone in on it, it's really good. You don't, because Soldier, you get tempted to rush sometimes because he has sprint, he has all his ability, but you really need discipline. I said about focus with your aim. You need discipline to aim and tap fire. You need to be focused to track and all that stuff. But you need discipline with his positioning and when to run in and when to fall back and stuff. And the last thing I'll talk about is you need discipline with his Helix rockets, because the biggest thing is you don't want to just use them at a Rein shield whenever you can. That's the way he can burst people down. You want to save Helix rockets for when you have a clear shot at a target to burst down. Because if you're playing Soldier, the more Helix rockets you land is really effective. I played a lot of games where maybe my aim with my normal gun was not 100% what it was. Maybe it was maybe my B+ aim or maybe something, but I managed to hit a lot of clutch Helix rockets and kill a lot of people with those frags. And you are reliable DPS, so even if you're not the one, even if you miss and don't pick people off the same as effectively as you should be, if you hit the Helix rockets, you will melt people. It does really good damage to tanks. It will wipe squishy people out. And if you can do that, it can make up for some maybe lack of aim, but at the same time, you need to be able to have discipline to save it for when you can get a kill. You need discipline for where to stand and stuff, and you need discipline to know who to shoot at and all this stuff. So discipline would be my catchphrase word or catchword for Soldier, and the advanced way to talk about him and all this stuff. So I've talked about Soldier and all that stuff and about practice, so I hope this has been really helpful. The last thing I'm just going to say, it's always helpful to practice on other games too. Any of these principles about aim and stuff you can transfer over to other games. I played Battlefield 1, which is obviously not quite hit scan, but it's really effective to just train your aim on different games. Keep practicing all the mechanics and the fundamentals in a game that maybe you're not as competitive about, or maybe you just enjoy playing with friends, and it's not competitive Battlefield 1 for me. I just play it for fun and just try to do well, obviously, but I just do it for fun. So I practice my aim. I got the same sensitivity. Actually, there's a good link in the description to where you can make sure you get the same sensitivity between games. It's really important. So I'm going to put that link there in the description. It's called Same Aim, Different Game. So you can use that to find the same mouse sensitivity you need. So basically, once you just keep practicing and all these fundamentals, and you can take that aim over to Overwatch, but the thing you need to do in all this is you need to train discipline, and you need to practice, and that's the biggest thing. Practice, 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 play Soldier, and practice. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.